feel like, yes, y'all read the title correctly. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But I feel like we've all been on the internet for quite some time now, so we feel like we've seen it all, okay? But every now and then, there is always going to be a new first for something that we have not seen. Like giving birth while on a live stream on Twitch to over 50,000 viewers, and your boss, the CEO of Twitch, is actively watching and joining in on the conversation. I don't know why somebody in their right mind would look at a situation like, oh, I'm about to give birth. We better set up for Twitch because I'm going to stream it. What is the thought process? Now, I am sure there's different at home preparations for whenever you want to give birth at home versus at the hospital. When you're going to the hospital, you're thinking, get the diaper bag, get the car seat, get the blankets, get the outfits, get the fucking plushie that you want the baby to have when they're born. Like, it's just a list of what do we all need to grab to make sure that when we get there, we're prepared for this to happen and we're not like leaning on the hospital for a onesie because we accidentally forgot it. But then at home, I'm sure it's different. I'm sure it's just your home, so everything's like there that you need. So if you forget something, it's like, oh, just run upstairs and grab it. I don't know like what goes into the preparation or planning of like an at-home birth. But one thing I never thought would go into the preparation of an at-home birth is setting up a whole thing for Twitch for the moments leading up to it. A Twitch streamer named Fandy decided she wanted to be the first person to give birth on a live stream, so she took to Twitch the day that she was giving birth and active labor and decided to do an 8+ hour live stream to 50,000 people watching as she pushed out her baby. Why people would be there and want to see this, I have no fucking idea. I remember my sisters used to watch the Kardashians growing up, and Kourtney once gave birth on camera, and I was like, I'm young, but I can understand that this is an intimate moment. Why would you be broadcasting it? And it's one thing to like want to take a video of your birth just so you can remember those moments and, cherish it and have it as like a personal thing with you or your spouse or even like certain family members that you guys can just look back on the moment later down the line, years down the line, and enjoy it. Remember it for the beautiful miracle that it was of childbirth. But to live stream it on Twitch with the CEO actively watching and engaging in conversation while the entire chat is just screaming W baby, it's so weird. Not to mention, this wasn't even like this setup to where it could have been educational. I would have understood if this was like a live stream moment where she was like, I'm doing this beautiful thing called childbirth, and I want it to be educational for people and like to not only see my journey but understand the steps that went into getting here, like of course not the birds and the bees, but just like the process of having a baby and like the medical side behind it, and if like the doctors' faces were blurred and it was just like more so for educational purposes. I could have maybe understood that, like blur the baby too. But this was just done for obvious clicks and views and to get people talking about it. Honestly, if somebody just randomly came up to me one day while I was like out and about, just like minding my business and was like, did you hear about the streamer who gave birth live on Twitch? I would be like, no, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Because I just wouldn't believe it unless I'd seen it. But also it's 2025, so I would kind of believe it, but also I would need to see because like what do you mean somebody gave birth live on Twitch while people were screaming W baby and the CEO is like cheering her on? Ultimately, we're cooked. We're just absolutely cooked when it comes to social media, and having any type of moment shared between just two people the way that it should be, there's no intimacy anymore, especially with relationships and with being a parent in general. Everything is so publicly broadcasted. And I would understand wanting to have videos of your child growing up and they're first. You want to capture that on film. So you have it to look back at when your baby's all grown and in college and you're sitting there bawling your eyes out over a big bag of cookies because you're depressed and don't know what to do now that they've moved out. So you're going to binge all these intimate moments of your child that you had growing up, being able to just watch them have their first steps, say their first words, drive their first car. I totally understand that. But wanting to broadcast this intimate moment for thousands of people to see, including your boss, while people are screaming W baby. It's just the W baby I can't get over. And what's crazy about it too is, of course, the Vandy, the streamer who did this, wanted this to be a moment. But I would have thought maybe the dad would have reservations of like live streaming the birth of his baby girl. Like, wouldn't you want to have a moment with your child before the whole world gets to share that first moment with your kid? I don't know. I figured maybe the dad would have some reservations about it. But he's like way on board with it too. And he's like, look, guys, look, chat. She's here. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I am going to play a brief clip because, honest to God, it's just one of those situations where I can sit here and talk about it and we can share our thoughts and opinions and chit chat in the comment section. But it's like a whole different ball game when you actually see it. So like I just want to play like a very brief clip. I don't even know if YouTube allows this. YouTube, this is for educational purposes on how not to be a complete twat to your kid, literally minutes upon arrival.
Turn a little bit. Oh, Katie, she's beautiful. Oh my God. Yeah, hi baby. Is that bottom nice and low? I might have you bend your leg, but let's see. Yeah.
See you guys.
Y'all, when the dad looked at the camera and was like, he's here, guys, just like talking to chat. He's talking to chat and everybody's just sad emoting around the Twitch streamer. Like, I don't understand. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because there is such a lack of privacy anymore. When it comes to poor freaking kids and babies and children and little toddlers, because their parents get social media, see what moments work and go viral for other people, and a lot of the times it is kid content. A lot of people eat up family channels. Kids even watch family channels. A lot of the time with kids in the content, the videos typically do very well. You get a lot of views on it. So it's just sad to see how many parents see what works for other people exploiting their kids online, and they jump on that bandwagon and just take away any form of privacy from their child, literally from the jump, without even giving them a chance at life or a chance to be old enough to consent to having their privacy just ripped from them. A lot of people might be like, yeah, you might be looking too far into it, Revoke. She's just giving birth. She wanted to stream it. It's her body, her choice. That's fine, and I completely understand that. And maybe I'm nitpicking, but I just don't feel like this should have been a thing, especially a thing on Twitch. Like, this is one of those times where I severely question what would the platform themselves think of it. But the fact that the CEO was literally there cheering her on and engaging with chat is absolutely insane in my opinion. Even the dad, right after the baby is pushed out and just enters the world, her eyes finally open, and the dad looks to the camera and says, she's here, chat. Yeah, that poor baby is probably cooked. I always get such an icky feeling when I see parents posting their kids having meltdowns, especially, I understand there's some where, you know, they'll film their kids having meltdowns if they have, like, say autism or something, and they'll use that as, like, a teaching moment or an educational tool to show how they deal with those situations, but I always think that the child's face needs to be blurred, and in my opinion, I think that the parent should also blur their face, just strictly because if they can't see your child, they might see your face and then look for you and then find your child. I just feel like if you're making content with or about your kid, you need to make sure you can protect your child. Blur their freaking face. And just think, that kid's gonna grow up and have people throwing it in their face. Look how bad you were when you were a kid. Look at your tantrums. Oh, this one has 6 million views of you screaming in Walmart because you were tired and wanted to go home. So funny. It's sad, in my opinion, that kids basically have no right to privacy, and all these moments that they had, whether good or bad, growing up, is then plastered to the internet where they get millions of views, and they're constantly going to be growing up with these receipts of what they've done or haven't done on the internet before they can even consent to wanting to be online in the first place. I have never posted a picture or a photo or a video of my child or my nieces or my nephews on social media, and it's not because I don't love and adore them, but it's mostly because they're kids and they cannot consent to whether or not they're actually being plastered on the internet. And even though it's one thing for somebody to be like, oh, wasn't this you as a baby? Like, your parents plastered you on social media of you freaking out in Walmart and, just like nomming down on your dessert or like lunch or like you at the beach. It's one thing to have those moments posted, but your birth, I'd feel violated. Like, what do you mean you watched my mother give birth to me and you were screaming W in the chat and W baby and you seen my first moment, my first breath when I opened my eyes? That to me is so, it's weird, it's disturbing. I want to be very clear as a parent. I feel like childbirth is such a beautiful and incredibly scary thing to go through, and I feel like maybe before I gave birth, I would have even been okay watching an educational video of the actual process. So there's a lot of things you don't know, they don't tell you about giving birth, okay? It's fucking terrifying. You go in there expecting one thing, and then it's a completely different ball game. Anything can go wrong. Anything can chase the course of direction that the birth's gonna take. It's a scary thing. There's so many things I was not told before I went in to actually give birth, okay? And I had a C-section. Nobody fucking prepared me for that, girl. But I would have been okay to watch an educational video about it. If she would have done this, in my opinion, in a different manner to where it was made educational, to where the doctors were talking, walking people through the process, explaining how beautiful it is to be able to create life and document that, not only for your own personal use later down the line, when you want to just remember that beautiful moment that you had with your child the very first time you laid eyes on them. That's one thing. But just to strictly stream it for the clicks and views, knowing this is going to get a lot of people talking about you and clicking to your page, is just, that's diabolical and just very disturbing in my opinion. What's even more disturbing is who the fuck are these 50,000 individuals who are literally sitting there watching this for 8 hours? Who's watching this for 8 hours? Who's W chat? Who's saying W baby and like W birth in the chat? I just don't really understand the audience for this. Now, I want to be very clear. When you stream on Twitch or something, you can add tags to what that's going to be about. If you're clicking on a video that is titled Live Birth, Baby Time, or Baby Time Live Birth, but then the tag for it is World at Warcraft streaming, it's going to be a little bit confusing. It's crazy that this couple wanted to do this in the first place, but in my opinion, it's even more insane and bizarre and befuddled by the fact that the CEO, Dan Clancy, was actually in there watching and leaving a surprise message and just like engaging with the chat. What are we doing? And I want to be clear too, because I don't want to sound like a hater, like you can't have these moments, you can't share these moments, keep it to yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you give birth to a baby and you're celebrating this new life that you are now in charge of, and it's very scary, and you're just adoring every moment of it, if you want to celebrate that with the world, even your following, that's totally fine. But I just feel like there is a way to celebrate it, and live streaming the birth, it's just not one of them. And just to be very clear, because my opinion might be unpopular here, people might be like, well, it's their choice to share their family with the internet. If they decide to do that, that's what they're deciding to do. It's not our family, not our kids. We can't speak about it. Different parenting. Whatever. Fine. But I feel like, okay, Trisha Paytas posts videos of her kids, pictures with her kids. Her kids are so fucking adorable. That's one thing. I just don't, I'll never fully agree with, I think it's cute. Kids, of course, they're adorable. It's cute seeing families sharing their children and just sharing their lives and having these awesome moments with their kids and seeing these kids be able to experience things that not a lot of us normal individuals without the money can experience. It's nice seeing kids be happy and have a really good life, but I never will understand why you want to post your kids in the first place. The thing about social media and why I don't agree with people sharing their kids is because if you move to a new neighborhood, there are sites that you can go to where you can check the red dots in your neighborhood, and we all know what the red dots represent. But online, you don't have that. You can't choose who's viewing your content. You can't choose who's saving the pictures and videos of your kids. You can't protect them the same way that you could IRL. So I just think that if you're sharing photos or any type of moments with your kids, you need to be very careful and very safe about how you're going about it. You know, I think it's one thing to like share a photo of your kid's birthday cake and be like, yeah, they had such a great birthday. They were so happy. This is like a list of stuff we did. They smiled the whole time. That's cute. That's awesome. That's great. Whatever. But why would you need to share photos of your kids to like celebrate these milestones, you know? And I'm never in agreement when I see kids posted to the internet because I just feel like there's such a boundary that is crossed with the fact that it's still a child. They cannot consent to having a digital footprint yet. They don't even understand what a digital footprint is. And also, there's not really a way to protect them when it comes to the internet because you don't know who the fuck is saving or looking at the content. But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on this situation. I just thought it was crazy, and this just like, when I see stuff like this, it puts me in full rant mode, where I'm literally just ranting about why is this a moment with your child that you have to share to the internet? Why is the chat saying W baby, and why are y'all happy about this? Why is the dad engaging with the chat literally as his daughter was just born? It's just such a weird and dystopian thing to me that I'll never fully understand. So I wanted to share it here, talk my shit, get my thoughts out of the way, and I want to hear what y'all have to say about it in the comment section down below. Truly one of those moments that I just can't wrap my head around because I don't know what went through either parent's heads to think that this would be, you know, a fun Twitch stream. So yeah, and the CEO joining. That is truly the icing on the cake. But I want to know y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do y'all think about the situation? And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next damn video. Alright, bye.